Good Tuesday, everyone. Looking at our Upper Cumberland Federal Credit Union weather headlines. Intense summer heat continues for a couple of more days. Not just the humidity, not just the heat, it's also the humidity. Cold front brings elevated rain chances for Wednesday, and then relief from the heat by the end of the week, and then always keeping an eye on the tropics. And we're certainly keeping an eye on Hurricane Erin, still a major hurricane this morning, a Cat 3. Anything Cat 3 or higher is considered a major hurricane. And it will be moving between the U.S. and Bermuda. So thank goodness, no direct impacts to either Bermuda or the mainland of the U.S. In fact, this hurricane in its strongest form has managed to avoid nearly all land masses with any direct impacts. It will bring some tropical storm conditions possibly to the outer banks of North Carolina, and they're looking for wind gusts between 40 and 50 miles per hour at times, nothing they can't handle. But certainly the biggest impact to the east coast of the U.S. is the rough surf. Some of those waves are going to be quite impressive. Dangerous rip currents, rough surf, that's the big impact to the U.S. from Hurricane Erin. Premier Generator is bringing us our level of concern. We're at level 1 for today any isolated storm that develops could be strong, and then I want you all to be very safe in that heat. Clearview Closet and Blind brings us the 5-day forecast, and it's a hot 5-day forecast to start out with, and then we trend cooler. So highs in the low 90s today with just a 20% chance for an isolated shower or storm. We didn't see anything on radar yesterday. I think we might see one storm or maybe two on radar this afternoon. Then tomorrow, 70% chance for showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and evening, and that'll keep our temperatures down to the upper 80s. And then Thursday, we're back down to a 30% chance, but then that ticks right back up to 50% chance for Friday and Saturday. But look at Saturday's high temperature, only 81 degrees, and there are early indications at this point that next week it could be much cooler than this week with highs only in the 70s. So let's keep our fingers crossed that holds true. Long-range forecasts are iffy this time of the year, but right now it's looking like next week is going to be cooler. Premier Generator is bringing us our severe weather outlook, and just watching Wednesday for isolated areas of flash flooding. So maybe some of the stronger storms could kick off some localized flash flooding, and we could have some heavy downpours around the area. So that's just what I'm keeping an eye on for now. Weichert Realtor is bringing us our extended threats, and once we get out of this week, like I said, next week's looking cooler, so probably won't have too much to worry about, barring anything developing in the tropics and moving our way. But even the areas of, behind Erin, there are 2 more areas to watch, but it looks like that's going to be, if they threaten any land in the U.S., it would be the East Coast and not the Gulf of Mexico. So right now, next week is looking pretty quiet. Bramble Travel bringing us our On This Day in History, and woo, this is a big one. August 19th, 1969, the remnants of Hurricane Camille, which had made landfall on August the 17th in Mississippi, let loose a cloudburst, sudden and extreme deluge of rain in Virginia, resulting in flash floods that killed 151 people and caused $140 million in damage. Look at that one location there receiving 27 inches of rain. So Hurricane Camille ended up killing as many people, if not more, in the mountains of Virginia than it did on the Gulf Coast, and it made landfall as a Cat 5 hurricane on the Gulf Coast. That's incredible. 1997, baseball-sized hail is reported in Smith County. That's one of our neighbors to our west. In another incident, lightning strikes the chimney of a house in Portland and sends rocks weighing as much as 50 pounds, 50 to 75 feet into the yard. The lightning chars a television antenna, back in the day, right? Twists several feet of gutters and pulverizes 2 or 3 television sets inside the home. So it was a rough day for that family. You folks have a wonderful Tuesday, and keep looking up. For even more weather information, just look at your Meteorologist Mark app, download it for free from your app store, or simply visit meteorologistmark.com.